I'm going to once again try to explain the unexplainable, the profound. But I think it's quite easy. It just takes a little bit of a switch of how you perceive things. I don't think enough people consider death. I don't think enough people have given it proper thought, its due thought. Everyone knows at the end of this game what the outcome is. Yet, they don't find it to have any influence at all whatsoever on their life. It should be almost a meditative practice until you get to the point of understanding what it is. And death, the idea of it, because it really doesn't occur the way that everyone assumes it does, we're just transforming. We look at it as, some people look at it as on and off. Some people think you just go up and see Jesus, or you go to the basement and see something hot in the inferno of hell. I mean, these both are maybe not perfectly correct at all. It needs to be considered what we think about death, what we think it is. And the easiest way to use an allegory here is that it's a blank slate. It's an empty plate, an empty glass. It's a blank canvas. So I haven't drawn in years, probably almost 13, 14 years. And before that, I dropped out of art class. I dropped out of music. I did everything I could to get into technology and science, and I didn't like the arts. I wasn't involved in it. I played sports, and I was math-minded and business-minded. And then one day I had a girlfriend that she was an artist. And I said, oh, you do really good work. And I picked up a pen and pencil, and for just about a month, I decided to draw. And I was decent at it. And then I never touched a pen or pencil after that. I did a couple tattoos, but I really never ever picked up a pen or pencil or painted or anything. Spent maybe a month doing it and then really never again. And so the other day, yesterday, I decided to, draw a couple things. So I took a blank canvas and I used the philosophy that Walter Russell has, and that's that you're capable of anything. All you need to do is focus and put attention into it. Now, what does this have to do with death? What does it have to... It has to do with this, where we come from and what creative force is, what thought is, what emptiness is, what a blank plate is, what a blank canvas is. And it gets into metaphysics and a materialist viewpoint and religious notions. So the reason that anything takes form is because a thought came first. It's a fool's quest to consider where the thought came from. We have to just leave that as the unknowable. All we can do is have the experience. We can search and chase for where did the thought come from. We can do that, and it's a fun journey sometimes. But if we just accept what death is and emptiness, and then from that point moving forward, we use attention and focus to create, we can do just about anything that we'd like. Now this goes into magic. This goes into all aspects of creation, of what is it that we're doing here on this planet? What did we come to do? Did we come to technologically advance the world? Well, there's some technology that's fun and creative and artistic, and there's some that seems to be the burden. The technology has enslaved mankind. There's plenty of science. There's plenty of medicinal things that have come out that are helping mankind. But there's a good deal of it that is attached to a materialist viewpoint that is burdening man. And it comes out of an idea, always religious, meaning a legion again. To do it again, a legion of something. To come to try to fix a problem, as Everyone's boy Einstein said, if you try to fix a problem with the same type of thought that got you into it, well, you're not going to get out of that. But if you immediately switch, if you immediately give credence, if you immediately give thought to the idea of complete darkness, which is what some people think death is, but then you go, oh, what's meditation? What's sleeping? And then you find just a very similar construct that it might be the same thing. That you don't have to go through this life and die like everyone else that you think died did. That actually died to a lower realm, meaning that their energy went down. Everyone's energy goes up and down throughout life. There's certain stages of this, and who knows? What if people blast off upward in the notion of an idea of increasing their energetic charge versus lessening it? So what if that's the only two things that exist? These are just a couple thought ideas here, but certainly if we start with the perspective that at the end of this journey everybody dies, what is it, and could you die right now? And what is it that would be dying? Aspects of you, your physical body? What is it that energizes and moves your physical body? It's thought, it's imagination. 1,000 times over, it's imagination. The imagination of yourself is what you get, and the imagination of what is out in front of you is what you get. Now, the pathway to getting what you want, see, we think of it in a lot of ways in the Western world, in the Western mind, through a materialist viewpoint that says this thing connects to that thing, which connects to that thing, as if they are separate pieces in a clock, and this moves that, but there's something that's driving it. There's a piece that's touching. Well, in the realm that's in between, in the actuality of existence, in that space between life and death, and that space that exists, that time that exists between what you desire and what you get, there seems to be emptiness. And you can't really point to a specific thing, a material thing, or even an event that caused something to happen. You can only see that you apply certain types of mental energy into something and you charge it. You apply focus, intention to a blank slate, meaning your mind. And the cleaner that mind, the cleaner that plate, the cleaner that slate, the cleaner the waters, the more ability you have to create anything that you want. But see, when you get to the point of having complete clarity, a complete empty sheet of paper, then it can be very, very confusing, because then, just like anybody who gets writer's block, or any artist that looks at the page and says, wow, the possibilities are endless. And that's what occurs. That's what death is in a very big way. That you sit there and you go, okay, you can create anything you want. Do it. You'll be it's almost a burden in some ways. I mean, it's not a burden. It's just the overwhelming expectations of anything that you want within the creative potential of your mind becomes absolutely overwhelming, and it becomes, wow, anything? You mean on this, I can put any line, any circle, any shade, any color, anything that I want here? Wow. And that's the idea of death of self, death of pieces of self, even sleeping. When you go to sleep at night, anybody that's had the experiences of dreaming and then waking up and having your dream in front of you, or even aspects of that, deja vu, things like this, there's it that's real. That's your experience. Anybody that's been in very lucid experiences, to once again see it again in the light of what you consider this daytime, this realm, to actually have something pop up, it becomes a little, it's a little more than, oh, that's just a coincidence. And then you can get behind what it is that coincidence is, because it is a coincident. It's an incident of co-creation with your higher self, with what's on the other side of the mirror, with what's on the other side of the sun, with what's the black sun, with what's beyond that you are when you get out of body, what your second self, as people would call it, or even your internal self, your spirit that actually isn't on full blast quite yet. But that point that you get to, a tipping point, the place in between, the place in between the mirror, the place that's not on the other side of the mirror, that's not on this side of the mirror, that stands the doorway, looks in both directions. That's where you want to be. But knowing what's on the other side of the mirror, just a equal opposite reflection that's causing this reality out of darkness, and they call it darkness because, well, that's where all creation happens. But if you bring the light of your mind to the darkness, if you take your magic and you do it at the night, and you do it in your dreams, and you do it in the silence, then out of that silence, out of that darkness, everything comes to light. That's the meaning of everything in the darkness comes to light. It's not some uncovering, unveiling of all the evils of the world. That's not what that means. It means that every one of your fears and fantasies and wonders, if you focus on it and you want it to come to the light of day, if you want it to come through the sunshine, through the portal that is the sunshine, then you have to believe it, you have to know it, you have to put it inside of you as you would a seed, and you have to bury that seed in the darkest, wettest, warmest place, and just know that it will harvest, know that it will come. And that's the idea of everything in the darkness comes to light. Of course it does. You planted it there, and it reaches for the light. And so what you think in your mind, which is that seed, which is that planting, which is death, which is literally Darth Vader, like the darkness. Yeah, come to the light. This whole it's all the allegories are there, but it's the perception of what you thought those allegories meant. People had this exoteric view of the world, and then people that were esotericists, an esoteric community, they were taking what they were told by others to be the esoteric ideas. And when maybe they had it wrong too, maybe they didn't know what it meant. But here, I make it plain for everyone. It's in your mind. Because when you die, if that's what occurs, if you think you die, you die. That doesn't affect anyone here, does it? That affects you. It's your life. It's your experience. So you need to understand what darkness is. And that darkness is your mind. And you can plant anything you want there, good, bad, or indifferent. So make a habit of planting good things, good seeds, good ideas, beautiful notions. Put those things in the darkness, and as those come forth, wow, wouldn't you rather have berries than and fruits and vegetation and wonder and amazement in the world than the things that we get? Well, why do we get those things? Then we get into all the programming. We stare at this TV, we eat this shitty food, we listen to people that say dumb things, that are children, that are childish, that are not quite ripe yet. We have to just let them be during their experience and know that our experience that we plant on this plane was always in the darkness, and we put it there. And now as we see the fruits of our labors and mislabors, then you can put anything you want. Now here, the field's there. It's all dug up. It's the winter. You can make your plans now. Remember, it's not the New Year's yet. Make your plans. Put them on paper. Put them in your mind. Draw them out. Write your rights. Make it your will. Do these things. And plant those things. This is why even the thought and the art of magic is to go bury something or burn something, because you bury it just like a seed, or you burn it because you have expectation of absolute that will come to pass, and you give it off to the ether, and you get it off. You put it in the darkness into the fire. It burns it off, and it says, "Oh, that goes to a higher realm. It's smoke now. It's gone up there. Don't worry, it will be delivered." And that's the idea of magic and the magical practice. And you don't need to go through all that again. You can do this just in your mind, but if you want to validate your experience a little bit by writing it down, you can just, well, there it is. It's just a helpful, friendly, happy reminder that what you said and what you set out to accomplish comes to pass. So draw it out. Do whatever you want. Have a beautiful day, everyone.